morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're super excited to have you. So I'm glad to dive in and learn more about you and your business. You are in the world of social media. Tell us a little bit more about Velvet Creative Co.
Sure. Okay, so Velvet Creative Code does social media for small businesses and nonprofits, and I do that through content creation, strategy, engagement. I also offer services like email campaigns, so that you can have a greater reach, lead generation if you're trying to get more clients, and even paid ads. So I'm helping on all the different aspects, just trying to get your company seen so that you're out there and people know who you are.
Fabulous, fabulous. So walk me through, have you always loved social media? Is it something that you kind of grown to love, or do you have a love-hate relationship with? I know everybody always has an opinion about social.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I always say that my ideal client is probably the person who hates social media because I love social media. So it really started like 5 years ago. I had this Instagram blog that I would do, post about restaurants that I went to. And a friend of mine has a coffee catering company, and she reached out and she said, "Hey, can you help us with our social media?" And I was like, "How do I do that? Like, I don't, what do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, you're already doing it." So started helping her, and then it just grew from there. And the passion for it has grown too. So getting to know all the different algorithms, and really getting to know my clients too. I love that I'm able to really get to know their business. That's really my favorite part,
Mhm,
and really telling their story. So yeah,
mhm.
love social media for some reason. I don't know. No, not everybody does, but I do.
Yeah, absolutely. So walk me through, you mentioned Instagram a little bit. Do you have a particular, set of networks that you prefer to kind of specialize in, or can, anybody bring any sort of, social media accounts on any platforms to you and you can take them over?
Yeah, absolutely. So, primary one that I do is Instagram. That's really seems to be the most seen right now, for people and for businesses. But most of my clients, we do Facebook. I do a lot of LinkedIn for my clients. A lot of posting articles and really doing connections for them,
Mhm,
mostly on the business side. If you want those connections, LinkedIn's a great way to do that.
mhm,
And I've also stepped into the world of TikTok too. So for a long time, I wasn't on that, thinking that TikTok was really for business, but a lot has changed in TikTok and that platform. And so really moving into that as well for my clients. So all the
mhm.
different platforms, I'm happy to help anyone with any of those.
Yeah, fabulous. And as far as your, overall kind of approach to social media strategy, what would you say that is the most common advice that you give to clients, or what's sort of your take on how to do this social media thing right?
Well, I think mostly it's putting out who you are. So,
Mhm,
really getting your face out there, really telling your story. So, a lot of the posts that do really well for my clients are the ones that are just a video of themselves telling who they are, or even if it's a text overlay on some B roll. B roll is king, of course. So,
mhm,
any of that B roll where people are really showing who they are, those are usually the highest performing posts that I've been able to do for clients. So
mhm,
getting your story out there, telling people who you are because people want to engage with who you are.
mhm. Awesome. Is there a particular industry that you like to work in, or do you have a sort of niche that you've started to see come about with your client roster?
I'm kind of all over the place, but I really love that because, like I said, I love to really get to know who my clients are. I have a career coach. I have an animal rescue, and the coffee company is still with me after all these years. And now I'm going to be helping someone who does wheelchair yoga. That's a new client of mine. So just kind of all over the place. But again, just helping them tell their story and identify who their ideal client is. A lot of times when they come to me, they don't know who that ideal client is. So we sit
Mm,
down, we discuss that, find out who they need to be able to reach and who that audience is, and then helping them to create that story so they can reach that audience.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. What would you say has been the most surprising thing to you as far as owning your own business?
Well, I did it for a side hustle for a very long time. So I've been in business for 5 years, and four and a half of that was as a side hustle. So moving into the area of doing it full time, I think there's, just so much more opportunity in that because I have more time for my clients. But I think, learning more. About social media and learning all the different algorithms, which are constantly changing, and yeah, all of those different things.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And tell me a little bit more about your, relationship to San Antonio. Are you born and raised from here? Have you always been here, or did you get here as fast as you could? What's been your
Yeah, my dad was military, which I think, my generation, that's probably where how a lot of us got here is our family being military. So I moved here when I was 10. I've lived a couple other places, lived in Austin, lived in Dallas for a little bit. And of course, prior to that, my dad, we moved all over when we were military. But I absolutely love San Antonio. Anyone who knows me knows that I love my city. I love doing all the local events. I'm all about Fiesta right now. So,
Mhm.
yeah, which was part of my food blog that I started with, just really getting to know all of the different places in San Antonio and posting about those because I have such a great love for San Antonio. So.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so big question, what would you say is your favorite fiesta event?
I love Nyosa.
Mm.
That's probably what everybody says, but I do love Nyosa just because you get to try all the different cultures of it. So I'll be doing that
Mhm.
tomorrow night.
Oh.
But I
Mhm.
also, another one I really love is the art fair.
Yes.
So on Sunday, I was able to volunteer at the arts fair.
Mm.
And it's just such a chill event, but you get to see all the different culture and all the different arts, and that one's
Mhm.
fun too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We were at Nyosa last night actually, so,
Yeah.
got to have a little bit of fiesta fun and back up, at it, this morning nice and early, but, that's very, very fun time in San Antonio for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Um, and how do you feel like in terms of, being a woman business owner in San Antonio, have there been challenges that you can think of? Have there been, what is the, economic environment like here to try to be, a woman business owner growing, your own agency?
Yeah, I think, really having to show who you are. So, that happens, I think, for women in any field that you're in. You really have to step up and really show people who you are and emphasize a little bit more of your skills.
Mhm.
But I think I've just been very fortunate to have, I'm a big believer in getting a community
Yeah.
of people that really will help you and guide you and support you and be great cheerleaders. So, I belong to a couple of them, recently joining NAWBO, and just really being part of that group of other women who are
Mhm.
experiencing the same thing and who can really guide and uplift you and help you to maneuver through those different things that you go through as a woman business owner.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's so important.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And tell me about your journey to find Nowbo. Is that something that you just stumbled upon, or did a friend refer you? What was that process like?
Yeah, so that was, friends, of course, lots of friends being part of it and being invited to different things. I went to the holiday, the Christmas thing that happened, and that was a lot of fun. And of course, then you get there and you see that you know so many different people. And so I went to that and then just a couple of other things, the recent happy hour for the membership drive. And then that just sold me because. Just knowing that there were people there that were a great network, but also good connections and people that would, like I said, a good community that would uplift me. So,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And so what do you feel like, as a new-ish member to Nowbo, what's the thing that you're looking forward to the most, or what are you the most excited about with your membership?
well, I'm really excited about the summit, of course,
Mhm.
happening on Tuesday. So I'm really excited to go to that. I've heard so many great things about the previous ones, and I know people have been speakers before. The speakers look great this year.
Mhm.
And I think also just I'd really love to join some committees, get to know other people, um, I came from a nonprofit world and in the corporate world and the nonprofit world, and so really loving to get involved in different things. So I'm really drawn to that part of it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool, very cool. What do you feel like is next for you? You know, Velvet Creative Co. going full time, you're jumping into, memberships and networking and all of that. What would you, envision for the next 1, 2, 3 years of business for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think I'm going to need some help. So that would be my next step. I think is probably maybe the next 90 days, probably bringing on some people that can help me out, a team, and growing my clientele, moving maybe into some different services that I can provide in the future to
Mhm.
help that grow too,
Mhm.
and just nonstop moving it forward ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool, very cool. In your mind, social media and all of the different things that you see working with client accounts all day, every day, what would you say is the biggest, thing that is currently getting you super excited about social media or maybe a trend that you're loving and having all of your clients jump on right now?
um, I love that people are moving to LinkedIn.
Hmm.
For a long time that I think, LinkedIn, even now when you look at accounts, you'll see like it's a really old photo or people haven't done anything on their account because for so long it was something that you just used to get a job. And
Mhm.
so I'm really loving that LinkedIn is moving to a space where you can really connect and
Mhm.
use that to find more clients or more connections, even on the
Mhm.
business side of things. If you're an executive, you're trying
Mhm.
to make those connections with other people.
Mhm.
So I really love that LinkedIn is really opening up so much in that side of of things for
Mhm.
even the social media side of it. It's interesting too when you look at the feed. A lot of times you'll think, "Oh, am I on Facebook or something?" Just because it's so interesting the way that the feed is starting to look as far as stories and connections, the way that people are connecting on there. So
Mhm. Yeah. No, I
yeah,
totally agree. I think they've done a great job, really over the last like 3 or 5 years, of just kind of making it truly a social platform versus your,
right, yeah,
resume that's just static and sitting there. Uh,
exactly.
yeah. Okay, so let's flip to the other side of things. Maybe the cringeworthy sort of thing. Like, what's the thing that you see some obviously not your clients, but other people on social media. What do you see that you're like, oh, please stop doing that. Please don't. Oh my gosh. Anything
Oh
like
my gosh, let's see.
that? How
I mean,
long ago?
especially on TikTok, of course, there's so many different trends on there.
Mm.
But the thing about TikTok too, and most of these trends is that they go by very quickly, right?
Mhm.
So a trend will start and then it's kind of past after a little bit. But
Mhm.
um, gosh, I mean, I don't have any clients that are currently doing any trends
Mhm.
that are cringeworthy, of course.
Right,
But
right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did see, of course, I saw a lot yesterday with everybody was doing the "It's going to be May" thing, and of
Uh-huh. Yes,
course, of
yes.
course, there was the alternative of the other people who were doing the videos of "Please don't do this," but
Uh-huh,
yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, Justin Timberlake always has his moment right about this time
You
of year,
did.
for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. No, I agree. I think to your point, I think that a lot of times it's evaluating what trends you jump on based on, okay, well, I look back at this in 30, 60, 90 days, 10 years from now, will I look back on this and just be like, "Oh my gosh, why did I do that?" Or will I be, happy and still think it's, maybe it was funny in a different time, but it still,
Right.
resonates with my brand kind of thing. So, I think it
Yeah.
doesn't hurt to take an extra couple seconds to sort of, decide whether or not you wanna jump on different things or not.
Exactly. Yeah. I do like the one right now where people are kind of showing old footage of, years ago, and then it's,
Mm.
she doesn't know that this is going to happen or that's going to happen. I think that's a really beautiful
Mhm.
trend that's going on right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
probably need to do one myself. I haven't done it myself, but
Yeah. I know, I just,
yeah.
the other day, we did the, ChatGPT make your, self into an action figure or doll or
Oh, yes,
whatever.
I did that. Yeah.
We did that for clients, and then I realized, like, "Oh my gosh, I never did one for myself," but, by that point, it was already, like, the mass appeal had ended, so I was like, "Alright, we'll just
You're
leave
right,
it
yeah,
alone."
yeah.
But that can be the case sometimes, so, what else would you say as far as, if somebody is in that boat where they're saying, "Okay, I think I'm ready to hire somebody. I want, to just hand off my social media." What's something that they should really be asking themselves to know whether or not they're ready for a true, like, social media manager?
Well, I think time is definitely a factor.
Mm.
And then the first thing, of course, that you hear is that someone who says that they really hate to do social media, they either don't have time for it or they hate to do it.
Yes.
Or they keep hearing from other people who are saying, hey, why aren't you on there? I tried to find you. I think
Mhm.
that's kind of the thing too, is that people don't realize how important social media is for business. It's everything's searchable on there. A lot of times
Mhm.
when you're looking for someone to go to for a particular service, you're going to search Instagram for that. I know
Mhm.
even for myself, a lot of the places that I've even gone to are because I've seen it on social media. So I think it's asking yourself that too. Are you being seen? How are people finding you?
Mhm.
And if you find that they're not seeing you on social media, then you need to open yourself up for that.
Right, right. Well, and I love that you mentioned, like, sometimes there's people that say, like, "Hey, look, I was trying to refer you to somebody and, I wanna send them your Instagram. I wanna send them your Facebook. I wanna, show them, like, you were telling me about that great job you just finished, and I wanted to show them," so sometimes I think when people say, like, "Well, my business is all word of mouth," you also kinda wanna push them a little bit that, okay, but your profile can still be, a moment for you to connect further with people and have them keep you top of mind for referrals or,
Right.
it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both and. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's just that, that education piece, I guess, with people who are skeptical a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to see it as a portfolio too. So, like you
Mhm.
said, when someone's looking to see if they want to do service with you, well, I want to see what you've done before. So
Mhm.
they're going to go to your page, maybe see before and after pictures of, if you do some sort of service that is a before and after type of service,
Mhm.
or if you're a photographer or any of those kind of things, you definitely want to be putting out what services you have so that people see that.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. All right. Well, if people are interested in learning more about you, how can they get in touch with you and find out more?
Sure. So I am on Instagram, which is Velvet Creative Co. Co. So Velvet Creative Co. Or my website is velvetcreativeco.com. And then you can see all of my services on there. My Instagram, I try to keep up with it. It's that thing like you said, where you didn't make your own action figure. So I
Yep.
try to keep up on my own social media as much as I
Mhm.
do all of my clients. But you'll see some of the things I do there as well.
Yeah. Awesome. No, I totally get it. It is cobbler with no shoes kind of situation
Right.
sometimes over here.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, very cool. Well, we are super excited to have you as a member of NAWBO and very, very excited to see what you're going to be able to come in and bring to our organization. If you are watching and listening and wanting to learn more about NAWBO, you can scan that QR code that's right up above me or head to nowbosa.org, and that'll share some of our upcoming events with you. You can find out more about becoming a member. We do have, as Velvet mentioned earlier, our summit coming up next week. I think there are still just a handful of tickets left if you are wanting to be one of those last minute walk up type of tickets. So feel free to check that out. But we also have our annual meeting coming up on June 19th, and that will be when we install our new board. There are going to be lots of new familiar faces to folks who are joining us on the board, and we're very excited to welcome them here in just a couple weeks, months. Yeah, not that long. As June's going to be here
Wow.
before we know it. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you so much, Velvet, for joining us. We had a great time. And if you are interested in learning more about her services, be sure to check her out at Velvet Creative Co. And we will see y'all next time.
Thank you so much.
All right.